Hey, what's up, guys? This is Glenn, and today we have a guest, Josh Franks. And today we're going to speak about if you have a dream or a goal and you don't know what to do, start here. So check this out. Thank you. Throughout the podcast, there might be some muted areas or some really loud noises, so we really do apologize for the inconvenience, and we did our best to edit that out. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
It's kind of interesting. We last time we were talking about NPCs and how everybody, has pretty much been taught the same things and follows the standard quo and all this stuff in education, in health, and all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's and about especially like I was talking about last time. We were talking about last time about learning, right? What we learn in school,
Right.
all this kind of stuff. Well, I've been thinking about different things that set me apart when I was younger.
Uh-huh.
That were actually my assets, but everybody told me was failures, and they were liabilities, meaning they were things that happened that people frowned upon.
Mm-hmm.
In different things, and one of those things is school.
Right.
One of those things was school. I was a D's and F student and an absolute loner growing up. Now, like I said, I think people should learn to be social. In my case, I was moving around. I was moving around a lot with my family, and I never was in a place where I grew up with kids, for any extended time, because I moved around so much.
Right.
As soon as I get some friends, I'd move, and then I would be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I was the same.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you weren't a loner?
I was a loner.
Were you?
Yeah, because I didn't have my brother and sister weren't at my age.
Yeah, they're
Right.
too young.
And then you had to make new friends.
Yes.
And maybe I made one best friend, and then by that time, boom, I had to move.
See?
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
I didn't know you had experience that.
And I could tell you by especially Silver Springs. I think that's where I remember it. Silver Springs, Nevada, which is away from Fernley, with almost population is like literally, I want to say 100, but it feels like 100 or like 1,000 population, right? Very minimal.
Wow.
Even 1990s, 1997, 8. So even at that time where nobody was here by Reno, Nevada or Sparks. So yeah, definitely. No, I get what you're saying.
Wow. So, you know what? It's so funny. To me, I look back and it was a benefit, because people's, when you have a strong social group, there's a danger that you will not consider a perspective outside of that social group.
Right.
If you grew up with it the whole time, you're not willing to risk losing that connection with the social group. So it's funny. Okay, so look. Unfortunately, you know what? I've been hearing this over and over in psychology. Me and you and everybody that's younger who listens to this has a huge advantage over people that are older. And what am I talking about younger? I'm talking about probably 25 to 30 and younger. It's going to be a lot easier for people that are younger to actually hear the information that we share.
Yeah.
Because people get so ingrained with information and so established and set in their ways, right? That it's hard. It's difficult. It's extremely difficult. Like, the only way people are going to change is through massive trauma. Something huge has to happen for them to break. Like unrealistic drama, like trauma, huge. Like, think about
that makes sense. Yeah.
that's the only they're talking. That's the only way,
Right.
Unless people, now I've benefited. One of the things I've established in my life, and I've had it for years, is not having just a completely stable social circle. And so I'm always able to change and look at different views. And I've never been dead set on any one thing. Actually, I was for a little bit of time. But that was such an advantage now because I have such an ability to mold and to pivot and to change directions.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree.
Compared to the average person. So even though, and learn. So like, even though I'm 37, I can pivot. I can still change.
Right.
I can still mold because I've been doing that in learning things. You know, I've taught myself how to pivot over the last 10, 15 years.
Right.
How about you?
No, absolutely. No. Yeah. No. I'm thinking of like while you're talking, I'm realizing sometimes you got to do extreme measures as yourself, like to kind of wake up and to prove everything, almost to prove society wrong and to yourself, yeah, and to prove people, not just to prove people wrong, but to prove all these theories, these ideas that people have instilled into you, thinking, no, this is the way to go. No, this don't go to school. Don't do this. And then when you go there and you actually do it yourself, or you find out, or you go a different. What I'm trying to say is, all I can think is like my bicycle trip. I know I talk about that a lot.
Reno to San Francisco.
Because I think it's so important because I made that decision to.
Yeah, that was such an extreme.
It was very extreme, right? And you realize you prove everything wrong. And not only that, also going to Israel was another one, right?
Traveling out of the country on a whim.
At a whim, exactly. I winged the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? I really winged the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I knew it was like something I had to go. Probably the motive. You know, I had a motive. And
the girl,
of course, with all due respect, I love her.
Yeah.
Even to this day, because if I wouldn't have done that,
you probably, if you didn't meet, you probably wouldn't have made that step.
Exactly.
So even though it didn't work out, whatever.
Exactly. But because I'm willing to now, but those experiences is now, I'm willing to use. I have ammo now. For an example.
Yeah.
Hey,
you can push through stuff.
For example, hey, I want to go to the Philippines. Anybody that says, as an example, hey, I want to go to the Philippines. Don't go to the Philippines. It's dangerous. It's this. And all I have to say now, have you been?
Yeah.
If you haven't,
from what perspective
are
you telling us? Yes, I can, or no, you can't.
Exactly. So now I have ammo.
At least give the possibility. I don't know. People don't say I don't know though.
That's true.
They usually just say no.
Right. And I guess that's my mindset has been as I've been getting older and just making my own decisions. I'm willing to, like you're saying, pivot because even like in what I'm doing with film industry,
like
I know for a fact, like, hey, if this isn't for me, even though I've been doing this for 3 years consistently, I still decide. I'll probably even decide, hey, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Because I found out some truth either about myself or whatever the case may be. So, no, that's important. I think the whole pivoting and being able to see that.
All right. I'm going to interview you.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you believe? Say there's somebody who they've had a dream or a really big goal, but they don't have the resources or the information to achieve that goal. What would you tell them they should do?
Repeat that again. Say that again.
All right. So say someone has a really big goal.
Okay.
And it seems they don't have the resources. They have zero resources.
Okay.
Because look, we're talking about life-changing, pivoting, and moving into new things.
Yes.
Completely, like you're doing a 180.
Right.
Most people we're talking about, they're going through life. It's very robotic. It's very just same thing over and over. And there's people that want to change. What would you tell them is the first steps of doing something big? They've got a goal in the back of their mind. They want to travel the world. They want to start a business. They want to get healthy. What would you tell them what would you suggest with what you've experienced so far?
Oh gosh, this is, you know, this one's hard because sometimes I even try to tell people be careful with advice, even with my own advice, because I'm still learning, right?
Yeah.
Right. There's things.
Yeah. Be careful with anybody's advice.
Even with what you hear
Because
now,
we're all different.
Exactly.
Personality. Okay.
We're all wired differently.
Yeah.
And so that's the first step. Even like what I'm saying now might change as the years go by, because hey, wow, I realized what I was saying was wrong because maybe I learned, maybe I learned truth.
All information with a grain of salt. Don't take everything as gold. If someone tells you this is the one way,
So that's the first part of advice.
That's awesome. That's
right?
a great. Okay.
That's the first start to start it. Okay. Second
preliminary
would be if just to start, listen to people that have the results
Yes.
already.
Okay.
Or doing it. So
yes.
So there's a video I made about the cowboy life, right? And when I was doing this cowboy life video, I noticed something I said. I was like, what did I say? Oh yeah. So you have people that are instructors, teachers, art teachers, for example. And if they're not doing the latest painting, if they're not showing off like a new, innovative oil painting, whatever, they're concentrating on something completely different, I wouldn't listen to them, because they're either talking about their past success, instead of what they're doing now. So their students can be learning from like, hey, this is what hey, if you guys want to check out something I'm doing here downtown in Reno, Nevada, I'm doing a mural. I'm the teacher.
Yes.
Hey, I'm doing this on this Saturday, so you guys can see.
Yeah.
And see that I'm actually what I'm teaching.
Yes.
Is what I'm not just in theory, but also in action.
Yeah. There's proven results.
Yeah. So,
and man, there's so many resources people can watch online.
Exactly.
All kinds of stuff. Now, there's one part I would love to add to that. Find somebody that's 10, 20, 30 years ahead, not just 5 years ahead.
Exactly.
Not just 3 years.
Absolutely.
You need to start at the top with people.
Absolutely.
Don't start at the bottom.
Yeah.
If you're learning, basketball, learn from the absolute top. Do not start at the bottom. Try do as best you can to start at the top.
And it's funny because
watch those videos.
It's funny because I actually I have one of my good friends, Brittany Graves, and we talk about our short film, right? And I tell her, I was like, look, I'm not copying from anybody in town.
Yeah.
Like I respect their video production business. I respect everyone because they are striving.
Sure.
But I'm not going to copy them, because then we're all going to just duplicate the same stuff, right?
So yeah, people need to start at the top. Well, yeah,
you learn
need
from the best.
Yeah, don't waste your time at the bottom.
Yeah, learn from the best.
Yeah.
Learn from the best always.
Okay. So, what do you think? Okay, say they start doing that. They're starting to get information.
Okay.
That is huge, though.
That is huge.
That's. I don't know. Continue. What do you think? I've got some I'll add, but
what else? And then, maybe there will be a time and place where somebody will see something in you, and they'll mentor you. Because I've had a lot of people that have.
So maybe get around business people. Get around whatever it is you want.
Exactly.
Try to get around it. Okay.
That you see the results, and usually those type of people are willing to help you.
Yeah.
Regardless, they're willing to give their time.
And you know what? It's really interesting. Yeah. Sometimes it's like I've had a few people like my business name, a few things like that. I mean, I was guided by other people. I kept banging on their door. I'm like, hey, can you help me with this, please? And I'll try to do something in return, whatever.
Right.
If somebody sees you driven, there are really friendly people in the business world. If you go to networking events, if you go to seminars,
But also, there is a catch. Your attitude is another big thing. I think, because if you have a really nasty, terrible attitude, but you're a go-getter, you're like a freaking go-getter, and you're willing to do whatever it takes. But you
nasty attitude, bad manners.
Exactly. Oh gosh. Then,
yes.
They don't want to be. What I've noticed, they don't want to be contaminated.
I know. Well, we have both experienced that.
Exactly.
Some people are around. It's like, it hurts to be around you.
It does. It does. It just, you can feel it.
It's like, yeah, or somebody who's too money motivated, they're just like, I just want to make money. That's like, it's toxic.
Oh gosh, and
They'll do all kinds of crazy, terrible stuff trying to make money.
Yeah.
They'll steal, whatever, all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
Integrity
and
of your service is what's going to keep it long term.
And one of the owners of I do like these car commercials, and I just heard him today. I don't want to say his name, but
Okay, anyway, car commercial.
owner of a car mechanic, and he said something really important. I love what he said, and I caught it. He's like, I want to be able, if I can add value to you, I hope you can add value to me.
Okay.
It's like, it's got to be like that balance, almost like that.
Like a win-win.
It's got to be a win-win. Like,
On
hey,
both sides.
Hey, I'm gonna, for example, like Josh does Friday afternoon barbecues, right? He has no employees, right? But imagine he does have employees, and people appreciate him. Like, hey, man, this is prime rib from, like, this is really high quality meat. Like, and I can see that value. Like, man, he's feeding us for free on Fridays. I'm gonna do whatever I can to appreciate him providing me a job, something that's feeding, exactly,
barbecuing,
being yourself, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Maybe put your own music. I don't know, whatever the case may be. But it's like that. It's got to be that back and forth. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
It's always a win-win.
Yeah, that's something that's not taught.
It's never taught.
Even in like a lot of work environments, when you go to work, it seems like it's a work for whoever you're working for.
Right. Exactly.
The business, and it's not a win for you. They do not recognize the value of the employees. And it's kind of both ways, because here's the thing: employees get to choose where they work.
That's right.
So, okay, but what ends up happening is it's a lose-lose.
Right.
The employees, if they're not treated well, they don't do work well.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And the way I'm building my business is I actually I'm going to treat my employees just like I would myself.
Correct.
And I'm going to pay them what I would want myself, the environment, all this kind of stuff.
Correct.
And so I want to give them the liberty and everything, but I want to reward them extremely well.
Yeah.
And show, you know what I'm saying? Because then,
of course.
I mean, what kind of work environment? You think people are going to be like, nah, I don't want to go there. I want to make it a dream come true for people to come and work and be with me. I love my work. I love cars and this stuff. You see what I'm doing, and I'm like, I want to share that with people.
Right.
I want to share that passion, and I want to find passionate people for cars, that kind of stuff. It's got to run parallel. Anyway, but yeah, all this, you know what? I think the number one thing, if we take things a step back, we're talking about what people want, right? If they want to do something really big. I think probably the number one thing that people have to have the ability, there's a lot of people that are going to hear this stuff, but they won't, it's not going to catch because they're lacking this one thing. They can't be introspective.
What does introspective mean again?
So introspective means their ability to correctly view themselves.
Okay.
So they don't think of themselves as higher or lower than they really are. They see themselves accurately.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They don't see themselves as low. Like, a lot of people are extremely skilled. They have a lot of potential, all this stuff, but they see themselves as very low.
Oh, yeah.
But there's other people that are, they lack skill, they lack experience, they have a ton of confidence, and they see themselves as a lot bigger than they really are.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
The ability to view yourself according to with balance, and see yourself properly and how you really are, and be honest with yourself. Because I don't want to say a number, but I mean we all lie to ourselves, but some people are lying so much that they're like, think about the restaurants. Gordon Ramsay,
Okay.
Have you ever seen Gordon Ramsay's? He's trying to address a business owner that his
Oh yeah.
that the food sucks. They're rude to the servers. All this stuff. I was watching one today. This guy was in complete denial. He could not take it. It was like, I don't know where it was. The information. There's like a wall. It will not sink through. He's like, you're rude to your customers. Hate the food. He's like, just like, I mean, he's going through it. There was like whatever fish of the day. And it was like frozen fish. It was. The thing says fish of the day, and he's serving frozen fish from like that they bought like a long time ago,
Right.
or whatever stuff like that, and they call it fish of the day. And I mean all this junk. He thinks he's a world-class chef, and he's never had training. He feels he can all this stuff. He's not seeing his business. He's not seeing himself properly. I'm like, to me, it's. Am I doing that to myself?
Right.
Am I?
Like sabotaging?
Yeah, am I killing my own success because what in my life am I doing that's hiding me
Right.
from my things from greatness being realized? And the biggest thing is not being able to be introspective and do it according to the reality. And people are walking around like they're, God's gift to the world. And they're doing and they expect everything of everybody else, and they don't give anything in return.
And I think you put a good point, because here's what I'm hearing, or how I'm evaluating what you're saying is Gordon Ramsay is a high-profile top chef.
Yeah, world-renowned.
Correct. So now what I'm hearing is, imagine a detail guy, imagine a filmmaker. Are you willing to take real advice from people that have been in the industry for such a long time?
Criticism.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that he's either, for me, produced top movies, done whatever, like everybody knows him in the world, and he's coming to see your business.
You have that opportunity, and you're gonna be like, no.
Yeah, because of your what is it? Your pride.
Yeah.
Kicks in. Your ego.
Yeah.
And maybe there is to an extent. There is to an extent, right? Where something that you believe in, but when is that fine line? Like, take the good, the bad, maybe the ugly on your own self. Like, hey, I agree with some of the things, but some of those things I have to disagree. But take the good stuff, take the bad stuff, take the ugly stuff, and then mix it up to your own little thing versus trying to fight it. Because someone's trying to teach you something that...
I know. There's been times where I'd love to share. Like, I had a guy come to my shop and just give me a hand with some stuff. And I made some suggestions, and he couldn't take. He wanted to start his own business.
Yeah.
And he helped me with something according to his business at my shop. And I criticized it, productively. It was productive criticism.
Right.
Not destructive.
Right.
And he couldn't take it.
Yeah.
And so being able to take criticism, even though, everybody's been told they're, a winner, everybody's told they're right, anything goes, this kind of stuff, it's destructive. These things are destructive. There's a way to plant a seed in the ground and to make it grow and produce more fruit. And corn, like you plant corn in the ground, there's a way to do it properly, and there's a way for you to kill it. There's not a million ways.
Right. And but what I realize when it comes to, like, being, not criticizing, but like more of like, hey, what is it? Constructive criticism, right?
Yeah.
When you're doing that with somebody, like, what I've realized in people is the relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like, how strong is a relationship?
Yes.
and being upfront about it too. And
Yeah, there's a fine line. You don't address stuff.
And there's something I learned from the courses down in Vegas. I really like this. Hey, can I ask you? Can I? What is it? The thing I forgot now. It's like can I give you some feedback?
Yeah,
I love that.
about whatever.
Whatever, because then they can say no.
Yeah.
They can say no.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
I thought I'd have the opportunity, but whatever. They
Right.
give you the option.
Yeah, it's a permission.
Ooh, that's a good. I need to say that if I have.
Yeah. Hey, can I give you some feedback?
Because that does break the ice.
Yeah.
If they don't want it, okay. Sorry.
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Because some people aren't
I
ready
like
for
that.
it. I love that because it's true
Yep.
and it works.
Nice.
It works because you're like, what do you mean? And then it throws people off a little bit. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, sure. So you're giving people permission. I think it's
Yes.
super important. And I was also thinking of your question, if someone is starting, if someone is just starting, I was thinking of, okay, let's say I want to start a business. Let's say you want to start a podcast. I mean, we're starting it here, right?
Yeah.
And even before this, we were coming up with excuses. The music was too
Yeah.
loud. I'm feeling a little down because I'm dealing with some clients.
Some emotional
stress right now. I'm like, I just don't feel like it, but once I start doing this, it feels better because now I'm like letting it go. I'm like, like this is the stuff that people need to hear.
Yeah.
And I'd say it again. I'm doing a disservice. So
Yeah.
regardless of how I feel,
Even us, we're having to turn aside how we feel.
right, and just do it.
Because that's
And
the discipline.
that's all it is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, people, I mean, anybody listen to this, you got to go against your feelings. Like, it's going to feel whatever. There's, like Glenn going from Reno to San Francisco on a bicycle. That makes it, your feeling wasn't like, oh, I can't wait. No, well, but you knew you had to do it.
Right.
And I mean, obviously you did. You'd been riding for years already in the city. I mean, you had enough experience. It wasn't like jumping in the dark. But that's
Exactly.
a huge jump.
Even last night, I rode my bicycle from, Sparks, Nevada to Verdi. That's about, I don't know how many miles that is. That's about,
Probably 20.
it's about 20, huh? It
20
is. Yep.
plus?
That's right. It is 20.
Is it? Yeah.
It's 20. It took us 2 hours to get there and 2 hours back on a bicycle. And even we're literally about 20 minutes away, and I almost quit. I literally almost quit. And my friend to Verdi.
Oh, really?
We're
Yeah.
just 20 minutes away, but because I was like, oh man, I don't know, it's too windy. I almost don't.
Dude, I
almost don't feel like it. It's cold.
Yeah.
All this stuff that starts coming in my mind. And
Yeah.
then my friend's like, hey man, let's just see how far. Let's just go down this road.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
Just keep going a little bit.
And then I lost that thought.
Wow.
I lost the
Okay.
emotion because then he just pushed me, or vice versa.
Yeah, that's so funny. You know what? That actually, if somebody's on here and you want to start, this is my suggestion for somebody at this point. If somebody wants to make a big change, you know what you could start doing? Start pushing yourself beyond your limits just a little bit. Just start little stuff. Even me, look, I started riding my bike again. I only did it when I was like 8 or 10 or whatever, with my uncle. But now, you kind of inspired me to get back on my bike today. I rode from my shop all the way to Starbucks.
Oh, that's right.
And on the way, as soon as I left, the wind was so hard.
Oh, right.
I was like, my feelings like, I don't want to do this. But I'm like, shut up. Just go. You need this.
Exactly.
It's not that you want it. It's that you need it.
Okay, and I'm a bike.
Yeah.
I'm a bike guy, right? And when I look at his bike, I mean, the first thing I'm already seeing is the front wheel. This front wheel has it's like a hub for an electric bike, and I know how heavy that thing is. Just the front wheel itself, he needs to take that off, right?
Is it?
It's so heavy. It's so heavy.
It's been a while since I've ridden. I'm not even. So that makes it worse.
But check this out. Look at here's a good example. How do I start? He started with what he has, regardless.
Start with whatever you got. Go do something.
Right? And then
Yeah.
as soon as, he keeps doing it consistently, a bike's going to show up and it's going to be twice as light, maybe 3-4 times as light. And then he's going to remember his experience from the past and be like,
Yeah.
man, I am so grateful now because
that was there. Yeah.
because now your pedaling is going to be increasing because you're doing
Less
so
weight.
much exactly,
All that kind of stuff.
and you're almost like, wow, over time. But it's just, hey,
Yeah.
you're starting with what you got, and
Yeah.
that's so important. And
Yeah.
with anything,
Yeah, anybody listening to this, do not, if you're starting at the bottom, you're hearing this kind of stuff for the first time, do not allow any excuse to stop you. If there's something that you feel you need to do and you need to start pressing yourself, and you just think about it. Do you need to go, just take your bike to work? Forget a car.
no, man, it's too dangerous out there.
Yeah, blah, blah. Yeah, forget that. Stop making excuses and start pushing yourself. Because what that does is it creates strength inside of you that things can't take away. You keep working that muscle, you can bear more.
That's
you can
right.
bear more. You can bear more. Keep pushing yourself.
And guess what? Look at what he's saying. Here's what I'm hearing. Start small.
Yeah.
Start small. It doesn't have to be so huge. I don't have
Yeah.
to. You don't have to go climb the mountain. You don't have to go.
No.
not at all. It's,
Dude, I'm telling you, it's so funny. Or go ahead, finish. I'm
and I was
sorry.
just gonna say, it was like, you can even. I've done this before. When I first started, I mean, even when I got back on my bicycle because I wasn't riding for 2-3 years because I got a car, and then I wanted to ride again.
Ooh,
Right.
yeah.
So what I did, I drove my car halfway, parked it somewhere, and then I rode my
There
bike.
you go. Yeah. Yeah, don't eat the elephant in one bite.
No, exactly.
Yeah, don't do that.
Exactly. And it's yeah. It
Just do a little bit at a time. Do a little bit at a time. Then before you know it, you can pick that up easy. You
Exactly.
can do these things easy, and then you can do more. You can do more.
exactly simple
So
stuff.
the basis of, I think, any success trait is pressing your limit,
Yeah.
pressing the line that you have mentally put in front of you or society has put, and push against that.
That's right.
Cross that line, get it further away, show yourself you can do something bigger, prove to yourself.
Exactly.
Other people, here's the thing, we use our perspective according to what we've been exposed to. Like I heard this about history. Everyone is looking at the last 5 years of their life as that is the interpretation of how their life is going to go. And they're not looking at the last 6,000 years of history and what men have gone through and got a real perspective of what it is to be in danger, what it is to have trouble, what it is to overcome things, and what is possible. Me and you are the same DNA of the people of the past that have done great and huge, crazy things.
Yeah, that's right.
This is all the luxuries we're enjoying are a result of a lot of hard work, a lot of innovation, a lot of hard days, a lot of sleepless nights that people push through, you know?
Absolutely.
And anybody can do these
Absolutely.
things. Anybody.
Even this, I mean, we're becoming, in a way, pioneers by doing this podcast thing, right? Because now other people will look into it and be like, hey, man, he started at a coffee place. Hey, you know,
Yeah.
we
No
don't-
excuses.
Yeah, we don't have
an office, but who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Like, and that's actually, now talking about office, that's my next step, right?
See?
I'm already looking.
Yeah. Look, and you're prepping for it now.
I know, exactly. And you know what?
Doing a podcast in Starbucks.
An organization I'm working for, the Katie Grace Foundation, I'm supposed to do a podcast and talk to like people. It's going to be a separate one for nonprofits, right? And I've been coming up with excuses like, hey, you know, even though it's going to be down in around August or July, but this is preparing me now to like how to speak, how to listen, controlling the audio levels,
Yeah.
you know, things like that. So all the post-production, pre-production, who do I hire? How big of a team do I need? How much does this cost? All this stuff. How long does editing cost? All this little details that I'm learning in the process versus waiting until I have the opportunity. And that's what Les Brown talked about. Oh, I love what Les Brown talked about. He's like, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than have an opportunity and not be prepared.
Yes.
And I remember him
Prep.
saying that. Yeah, always prepare. Always prepare when you don't have the opportunity, because when it comes, you'll be ready. You've been waiting for it, and then boom,
Yeah.
something happens. Like, hey
Yeah,
man, can you make
prepare
a
for
video? And then boom, you just blow their mind. You're just like, what? You've been doing this for how long?
Yeah.
This and this and this and this, and then next thing you know, that's how people
Dude,
are going to observing you.
Yeah. Dude, the way that people are taught to view the world is so backwards, especially in our school, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's some practical stuff that's taught. But look, man, I found this. This is hilarious. I found this yesterday on Instagram. I go through and I listen to, I watch like success saying, or read success sayings and quotes and whatever. And I watch people say things and I follow that on my Instagram. So that's a hint for anybody listening if you like this stuff.
Right.
And this quote, I was just going through stuff and I thought this was so proper with us starting this. And it's got Elon Musk as a picture and it says, why failing students get rich. So even people a lot of times are like, I failed before, I've done this, I've been in a hard situation. A lot of people don't realize failure is actually the first step of success. You know what doesn't work. But not only that, school specifically, school is not teaching us what it should be to the extent it should be. Okay, so for example, listen to this. This is so cool. F students, and it just has like 5 quotes. It says, F students realize that school isn't everything. Dude,
Yep.
I was a D's and F student. And I'm going to school and failing. My family's like worried for me because I'm failing in school.
Yeah.
I look back and I thank God I was failing because I'm not learning a bunch of stuff thinking that that's going to help me in life.
Right.
I'm sorry, high school is not going to help you have emotional intelligence. It's not going to help you learn about how to deal with people, hard situations. It doesn't teach you how to make hard decisions well.
Right.
Different methods. They don't teach you, different methods of things that are practical for everyday life. And
Yeah.
it keeps you open. So when you fail that, you're like, okay, I don't measure success according to school. As soon as you hear something different that sounds like it makes sense, you'll listen. A students, they don't listen to me.
Right.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
If I try to talk to somebody and they're really educated, I haven't told you yet.
No.
I'm telling you, I'd talk specifically. There's a teacher. I tried to explain some of this stuff. I can't say a word.
Right.
Defense.
Yep.
A defense. A wall is put up as soon as I say something negative about school,
Yeah.
and I prove it. And even though no, it's a teacher. So, and that's what I was talking about. Society putting their confines on us.
Right.
So
And-
look, F students develop skills other than memorization. F students go against what the crowd says. If you're a D's and F student, it's not as important. That's it. That's a socially acceptable A's and B's. You're being accepted by school. You're being accepted by your parents.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
That's
even
right.
though it's wrong, what's being taught, and it's wasted. Mm-hmm. Did you hear what Elon said about school? He said, college is no longer a predictor whether someone's going to be highly successful. Do you know what he does? I was listening to him get interviewed. He said, when I interview somebody, you'll love this. I'm telling you, this was awesome. He said, when I interview somebody, he said SpaceX, he interviewed every single person himself. And he asked him this simple question. Or he told him this. He said, tell me your life story. And he said, what he is looking for is their ability to make difficult decisions and have great success in getting through things in life. He's looking for traits that this person can take
Right.
care of business.
Absolutely.
And he found out that some people would kind of like the way he said it. It was like some people, they would say they made the right decision, but they couldn't get down to the nitty gritty. They just kind of. He's like, man, those people that are successful and they know what they're doing in the world, and they make extremely good decisions and got through challenge. He asked them, what's the biggest challenge you got through? Stuff like that. He's like, those people can tell you exactly what happened and what decisions they made.
And regardless of how they felt, right?
And he was like, that is more valuable than a college degree. Forget a college degree.
Absolutely.
It's a terrible.
And I used to be, I guess I'm not against college because I went to college, right?
Yeah, and I did too.
Right, but I went and I got my scholar or whatever my degree.
Your
thing.
degree.
But you know what I loved about going to that school specifically? It was down in San Diego, Platt College, and I loved it because it was so hands-on. And not only that, I loved some of the teachers were very. They were teaching me things that, hey, they were in the workforce for years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, years, and they're like, hey, Glenn, this is what's gonna happen. I'm about to give you, I mean, if it's $25,000 in debt and I got one golden good nugget from him was, hey, Glenn, anytime someone tells you, hey, man, I need you to change my logo. What you need to do, Glenn, I know you can do it in 5 minutes, right? I know you can do it in 5 minutes, but I want to teach you what you have to do. You have to wait 30 minutes, create a story on your end. You're like, oh man, this took me like 30 minutes to make, man, but I did whatever I could to take whatever, because people are going to abuse you if you keep letting people know your skill, like in a way. But that's just one example. What I'm saying is all these teachers were teaching me the things that would happen in real life. Like, hey, you're going to have the clients of hell. You're going to have this. You're going to have to go through it, but I'm going to teach you things that are not taught in school because I'm actually going through some of the stuff right now as we're teaching.
People are trying to take advantage.
Exactly, all the stuff. So you're
trying to talk you down,
exactly, and increase your prices because even in the creative field, it's very difficult because people don't see the tangible work. They don't see a physical work. It's very difficult. Right. It's very, very difficult.
I've got 10 years. Under my belt with some of the stuff I do, but now I can do it like nothing.
Right.
What was it? Was it Picasso?
It was Picasso.
It was like he wrote something really quick and gave it to somebody and charged like premium money.
Exactly.
And the person was like,
"But
it only took you 3 minutes." He said, "No, but it took me 30 years to learn how to do that
in 3 minutes."
Because if you saw the result, I think you told me that.
Yeah, I love that one.
Your skill. Yeah, don't downplay your skill.
I want to talk about that. That's a good one because there's another one I want to talk about. How when you talk about that skill is about the hammer. I think the hammer and gosh, it was like fixing. Man, I should have saved that one, but I think I remember the story. The story is, hey, hey, can you fix my? Let's just say your boiler. Hey, can you fix my boiler? Yeah, of course. And, he fixes his boiler, he checks it. It took him 5 minutes to fix it, right? And then he's like, okay, awesome, thank you for fixing it, or whatever. Send me the invoice. And then it was about, let's just say, hypothetically, $1,000. $1,000, the customer's complaining, $1,000, right? And he's like, that's ridiculous. Can you break it down on the invoice? What made it to $1,000?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, of course, I'll send you the invoice again, and I'll break it down. Mm-hmm. And it said, what was it, like $5 for the hammer? And then $995 for knowing where to hit the hammer at.
Yeah.
Like being very specific. Like basically, I know exactly where to hit it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it took me 30 years, 20 years, whatever experience to learn how to hit it in one place.
Yes.
And that's exactly it. It's not undervaluing because you want it fast, right? You want it quick. You want it done right away. Quality on top of that.
If you can find high skill, you're gonna have to pay for it.
That's right.
You're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What else you got?
But yeah, I was I wrote down more things and just a couple more principles that they came to mind when we were talking about changing. And things we need to remember that we're never taught when it comes to doing bigger things, playing a bigger role in your own life.
Yeah.
It's not only what to do, it's what not to do. And one of the biggest things, like I was saying, people are hanging on to. They're hanging on to their social. They're hanging on to their social circle too much.
Yeah.
Too tight.
Yep.
It's too tight. And
it's hard to break free. It's very difficult.
I wrote this because specifically I see some cultures. You know what I'm saying? People feel like they can't leave their social circle. And sometimes it's different heritage. You know what I'm saying? What about in Mexico?
You know, the best way, yeah, that too.
Is it like that?
It is.
Would they? Because here's the thing. It's like some people are around a specific race or economic people, and they don't want to break from that. What would you suggest to them? And you don't have to break completely, but you need to recognize that,
I can only here's my idea. I can only teach what I know. Right?
Yeah.
I can only teach what I know.
Yeah.
So here's what I did. When I went to San Diego, you know why I went to San Diego? Mm-hmm. Why I decided? Because I was like, you know what? I'm going to San Diego because I don't want to be like everybody else. I was like, everybody else is going to go either to TMCC, UNR. These are local schools here in Reno. And I don't want to be like them. And they're going to live with their parents.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Easy life.
Easy life, right? I decided.
Take the harder road.
Nope. I'm going to go to San Diego.
What made you do that?
First of all, I saw the school.
Well, you what?
I saw one of the schools.
Oh, okay.
So I did some research.
Okay.
And I was like, this looks appealing.
Okay.
And, I put some effort. I actually put some effort. So I was like, hey,
you're thinking of everything. Yeah.
And I'll
research.
I'll even say this to my mom. I remember I even lied to my mom that I went to San Diego to go do some research. Really? Because my friend drove me all the way to San Diego because that's where he's from.
What do you mean you lied?
I just told her, hey, I'm going to somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know if it was there or Mexico. I forgot. But I just remember I wanted to kind of.
You didn't want because you wouldn't have accepted.
Probably.
If you were making that decision.
Exactly.
That would have been hard on her.
Exactly. Because
you're like, you knew better.
Exactly.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I'm going by myself.
Did you ever tell her that?
I haven't told her.
Oh, if she hears this, you're screwed.
Yeah. And anyway. I love my mom and to this day. But it's like, I remember that, we drove all the way over there, me and my good friend James, and he, I went over there, and then I went to the school, and I actually felt it, is this something for me? I looked around. I didn't know the place, I just looked around. I asked for brochures. I asked for all this stuff, information. Oh, this is what it looks like in person. This is what it feels like. Oh, this is the classrooms. Oh, they got iMacs, Apple computers. Okay, looks pretty high tech. Sweet. And then that's and just I only went for 1 day or 2 days. That's it. And I asked
do some research,
and I got some brochures. And next thing you know, I went back home, and I start putting these things on my wall.
Okay.
I put the school. Okay. I put the school in the wall. And at that time, I remember the design was like Halo. Halo was a thing.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, hey,
Circle.
we're designers. We're game designers from Halo or whatever it was saying. Anyways, I put this stuff in my wall, and then I started just really believing in myself. And I almost didn't tell anybody, or I actually started telling a lot of people. And I started hanging out in the library.
Okay.
And I separated from my friends.
Okay.
I literally start separating from my friends, and I start hanging out in the library. And I just told everybody, hey, I'm going to San Diego. I'm going to San Diego. And I would do this for 6 months straight. As soon as school.
So you had to separate from your friends.
I separated myself.
You started doing it early.
Yep. And I started hanging out in the library. Literally senior year.
Yeah.
About senior year. Once I went to San Diego, I started hanging out at the library. And just hanging out, just a small group.
Yeah.
And I'm going to San Diego. I'm going to San Diego. And guess what? Some other friend too. Hey, I'm going to San Francisco. I'm going to San Francisco as soon as I move. And that's it. And we just start repeating it.
Repeat the thing that you want.
And
that's right.
And I had some doubters too. I remember one teacher. I remember one teacher from my cousin had to tell me, hey, this teacher told you that you're not going to make it in San Diego.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my gosh.
You know how much that motivated me? Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Thank
Watch.
God. Thank
Watch.
God that person.
Yeah.
Have you seen the person since?
I did see that person.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I bumped in.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
I bumped
that
in-
sucks for them.
I
man.
bumped in-
That's rude, though.
I know.
What
Hey,
happened that you bumped in?
I bumped into him at a store.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Hi, Mrs. And how are
Uh-huh.
you doing?" And then I was like, how are you? Whatever. And then they asked me, "Hey, what are you been up to?" "Oh, I went to San Diego. I already graduated here. I have a job now doing graphic design."
Uh-huh.
Whatever. And I felt so good. I was like,
Because you knew the truth. She didn't know anybody told it to you, probably, huh?
"Yep." I loved it.
What did she say? What did she say?
Oh, yeah, yada yada yada. I felt great, and I'm so, when I see somebody, I'll approach.
But you could tell. She was like,
Yep,
she probably felt bad.
probably.
Dude, don't ever tell. That's one thing. Dude, our society, I think it's something like you hear the word yes, I can 1,500 times and the words no, you can't 35,000 times by the time you're 21 or something.
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
ridiculous.
It's true. It's true.
So keep that in mind. Get yourself around people that are yes,
Yes.
you can. If you surround yourself around people that are no, you can't.
That's right.
How many people backed you up? Of course I did. When you did your bike ride, was there anybody that was like,
They kind of believed me. They kind of didn't. And
they're in denial a little bit?
a little bit, like, sure, kind
Uh-huh.
of deal. But as soon as I started seeing, I just started believing in myself, and really, a small circle again, almost again back into high school.
Yeah.
In the library,
I'm telling you,
small group of
that's
friends.
such an effect.
A small group of friends,
Yeah.
and that's it. And I just started telling people like that I trusted,
Uh-huh.
because I know they wouldn't put it down. I
Yeah.
know they wouldn't put it down. And then there was just one day, I knew it too. I did I remember on Facebook, I did a video, and I was like, "Hey, Facebook, whatever. Tomorrow, I'm taking off. Tomorrow, I am leaving
Yeah.
to Reno to San Francisco." So I did that. So people didn't have enough ammo or enough time to say any doubts, fears, or anything they can
You
put in my
said,
brain.
hey, tomorrow, later.
Boom, and I left.
Good luck saying something.
Yeah.
You got 24 hours,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, you got to say something negative
Yeah.
very quick.
Okay, well, and that's the thing. It's better to, here's another key. If you want to do something big, don't say nothing, just do.
That's it.
Just shut your mouth. I had to do the same. Man. I came from, lower middle class, and I wanted to do bigger things, and now I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my family couldn't support me because they didn't have the belief. They didn't have the information. They didn't have this kind of conversation they're listening to.
Right. Absolutely.
And so anybody listening to this, I'm telling you, you are not going to find support. You're wasting your breath telling people what you're going to do. You have to just do it. Let your success speak for you.
And if you're that confident, if you're going to say, "Hey, this," or you want accountability, yes, say it to somebody. I think also that works because it helps.
Yeah.
Because then now
Yeah, somebody you can trust.
Exactly.
And
It's more of a trust.
Well, because then they'll if there's somebody constructive
Yeah.
in your life,
Exactly.
and they're not just like just doubtful and
Absolutely.
and
Even-
lighthearted.
even
they're
when
gonna test what it is you are wanting to do. Because I remember I asked you, what makes you want to do that, and you're like, this book.
Oh, that's right.
And I was like, all right, so you're serious, and you're learning what it is
That's right.
to travel across the whole U.S. You read that book on that guy. So I'm like, all right, that relieved a ton for me when you were telling me. I'm like, hey, he's serious, and he's being practical. He's being practical.
And not only that, I remember
Structure.
reading the last thing. I was a blog, and I was doing research on touring, and it basically said, "Oh, you can prepare this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this," and then at the end, the last point, just grab your bike and go.
At the end of the book.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was on a blog. It was
On a blog? Oh, okay.
And that was the last thing I read. I remember.
Awesome. Just go.
Yeah. Basically,
There's a point you're not going to be prepared enough. You're right.
you just got to do it.
You just got to go.
It's too late.
Yeah, so if
Because-
you're hearing this, sometimes you just do what you can.
And I'll leave it like this.
Quit making an excuse. Just like me and Glenn are doing for you guys in the middle of a Starbucks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what was it? And I'm a huge example. I am guilty of this. This podcasting should have been done years ago. But what have I been doing? And I fall totally guilty on this. Ready, aim, 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 and I don't fire.
Yep.
And I'm more backward sometimes. I do fire, and then I aim.
Yeah. Sometimes better. Yeah. Sometimes better, man.
Sometimes better. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
any last thoughts?
Yeah, that's about it, man. Don't, like, I know, just as a recap, don't lie to yourself. Be accurate about really what it is. Catch yourself. Take an inventory of yourself and be like, what do I, what are the things I'm really, that I can do? What are the things I can't? What if, I can't suggest enough to people. Stop and write down. Take a notebook with you. And when you have a thought, write it down and have it with you and reverse it. So if it's like, I can't start my own business. I don't have the blank. I don't whatever. I can't get healthy. I don't, whatever excuses. Start writing that stuff down. Catch yourself and stop that, because it's, you want a positive mental framework. You've got to start saying you can.
Exactly.
You have to be in a, one of the biggest things that affected me about mindset was there's two kinds of mentalities. There's what's in the book Think and Grow Rich. To change your mind from what's the lack? I don't have it in front of me. Where is it? I think I have. Actually, look, I have it right here. Let's see. To change, let's see if I can find it really quick. This is so worth this whole thing. Here, let me see. And I'm telling you, you start getting around people and information like this, it's like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
You start getting all kinds of stuff. It's essentially like this. To change you from being like poverty conscious, do you know, to success conscious, or what is it? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
In the book? Let's see. Maybe I can find it really quick. From failure consciousness to success consciousness. Everybody knows what fails.
Right.
Or that's what they believe. They believe in failure consciousness. Everything fails.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know what succeeds. They don't have a success consciousness and working towards what it takes to get yeses and get things actually happening and done
Right.
in their lives.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree.
So
I agree.
it's, yeah.
And I guess my final thoughts are, if you're going to be successful, or I think it's about, and we're doing this, actually we're starting tomorrow, kind of initiating this, is finding a small group of friends, people that you trust, and keeping people accountable. And my thing for this next 100 days with my friends are going to be, for me, I have to lead by example. I don't have to set goals. I am going to set goals, but I'm going to lead by example, because they need it more, and I can see it and I can feel it. But me being there and being part of their life, I can definitely change it. And if we can change one person at a time, or they can change themselves one person at a time, man, all the blessings, it's going to benefit all of us. It's not just me. It's going to benefit everybody else, because they have a different circle of friends. And if they can influence their circle of friends, it just keeps going and going and going. It's like giving and giving and giving.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's all I got, Josh.
Awesome. Yeah. Love
Cool.
the talk. Love the talk.
Yeah, always. So thanks for listening. This is our second episode of the podcast, and we'll catch you later.
Take care. See you guys.
Peace.